Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We are going to be working on our next Patreon companion. Let's get going. Patreon number 14? Yes, 14. Volume 2, number 2, so number 14 I suppose. We are doing Peryton again. So we just did a dragon last time, which I have her right here. So now we're going to switch over and do the Peryton. Don't know what that is, but okay. So the flower I have is an Anthurium, I think is how it was, what it is. I don't know. And I'm assuming, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, this is it. So it's like a waxy kind of flower. I don't know how I'm going to get like waxy in the drawing, so we'll see what I end up doing. But the funny part is, these are the colors that originally pulled up when I was first looking at the plant. And because I looked up other colors of what the plant could be, it was multiple different varieties, which was cool. So I was like, okay, so I randomly picked 3 colors. I was not looking at them, and these are the 3 I picked. And these are the 3 of the original colors that it showed. So I was like, okay, guess these are meant to be, so that's what we're going to do. Minus the green here up top, this should be white, or white right here. So it'll be yellow and then white. But because I picked green instead of white, we're just going to do green on here. So green will be the 3rd color. Red will be the main, and then yellow will be 2nd. Just because I know a lot of plants are green, I don't want to have a whole lot of green in these, like, as much as possible. Sometimes I'll have to, like, if I do something like this and I'm picking random colors, it's going to happen. It's alright. We'll roll with it. I'm not that upset about it. Completely fine. So for the Peryton, I had an idea of have him kind of, like, jumping, or I guess, like, wings spread. Kind of thing. And then maybe like closer to us, I could have a bunch of the flowers. And then a few more up here. Oh, maybe I could do a waterfall type of thing. Oh, sunset. Or something would be kind of nice. Or sunrise, sunset. Honestly, they're almost the same thing. It's just slightly different. Like, obviously sunrise, you would have lighter colors. Sunset or darker. So I might end up doing the sunrise, I think would be kind of nice. Now, what I'm thinking for, we'll just start with the wings. So obviously, these also remind me of elephant ears. Like, you know, the elephant, like they're kind of specifically here as well because how deep they're cut. These almost have the shape of them. So I thought maybe the main part would be the flower itself. And then these back here, I don't know the structure of a bird wing. I don't know what the feathers are called. But you know how the very tips of the bird wing, I kind of thought the little center right here could be the tips of the wings. I thought would make a lot of sense to me. And then if I wanted to, even back here along the spine, I could have the plant here and then just have the little center coming out the back as well. Probably the little center will be appearing in several places as I do this. I don't know, I just thought that it was kind of interesting, so I was like, okay. Because I'm like, I can work with this. So I think it'll be really interesting, like, as I go, because I have certain rules I follow when I do certain animals, like the little extra bits they get. So I think it'll be fairly interesting, because even the tail I could have mimic the wing back here, I think is what will end up happening. So he'll be something like that. I'll color him in a second, so you can kind of see what the thought process is for color wise. So I thought that would be kind of nice. We have this. Obviously back here, I want maybe, oh, I could do like maybe a secondary waterfall back here. Okay, I think we'll go with that because the paper is like a 6x8, so it's actually about as big as a sketchbook here. So obviously I don't have a ton of room, and it's going to be portrait. So, but we'll go with that. Obviously, as long as the main animal is in there is fine, and then I'll just do the rest, because even back here I can cut this off some, take some of it away just so I have more of this if I want to do that. Anyway, so I have this, so I'm just going to add blue just so I can kind of different colors a little bit. I'll go ahead, I'll add a yellow in there for back here, I suppose. Maybe I should do a light brown instead, because I can put the yellow up here. Okay, let me start here. Alright, so the main color is red. Yeah. So even this will be red. Actually, ooh, you know what? I might end up changing those to being like the yellow. I think instead, or at least maybe parts of it will be. So I guess maybe the first layer of feathers could be red, going into yellow, and then this will end in green. And then back here, I can make all yellow. Even going down in here. And then I'll include, so green, just to kind of finish it off. Oh, that could be kind of interesting. And I will be doing some sort of like patterning on him as well when I get there. I think for the grass, I might make it a little bit darker just so it stands out from him some. Obviously back here, I'll need the yellow. I'll just do, but again, I'll add more sunsetty colors when I do this. It's just for differentiation. So that way I can kind of see what's going on. But I think something like this could be good. It actually almost reminds me of a macaw. OMG, because it is, I think it is macaw colors. I'm pretty, like a red macaw. OMG, I wasn't even trying to do that, but hey, it kind of works. Right, so now for these flowers, because obviously I have different colors. So the intention was to also kind of add them up here with where the Peryton's at. So now I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the other ones look like in the other colors. I'm just going to kind of color them how the red ones are. So obviously little stems will be kind of reversed a little bit in some cases, is what I'll end up doing. Okay, so I'll do something like that. And so we're going to go from there, but I actually kind of like that. I think it'll be interesting and somewhat, if I can figure it out, an interesting angle. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is trying to get that figured out. But I think he still works, so I think this will be super cool. It's going to be fun. But I'll try and stick with sunsetty colors, and then when I do it digitally here, I'll be able to actually make it a lot more yellow and like orange to give it more of a sunsetty feel, which will be perfect with this. So, because I've actually learned this trick from doing some other drawings I've been working on. So it'll work for that. So that's what I'll do. So let's now get into it. The Anthuriums Peryton. Legends tell that the first Perytons were proud creatures, swift enough to outrun storms and soar above mountains. Yet they often lived solitary lives, trusting only themselves. He had to learn that true strength was not found in isolation, but in loyalty and compassion. Our Peryton planted a grove of brilliant Anthuriums, flowers whose glossy, heart-shaped spathes represented hospitality, abundance, courage, and enduring affection. When he flies, little petals and seeds drops from his wings. They grow where they touch to create a lush carpet of red. This spreads the abundance and endurance the Perytons had to learn. Though gentle by nature, the Anthurium Peryton fiercely protects life. His mighty wings scatter shimmering pollen that rapidly restores damaged plants, heals wounded animals, and purifies poisoned soil. Where battles once scarred the land, lush gardens often bloom within days of the creature's passing. His wings remind the world to reach beyond fear. His antlers remind the world to continue growing. His flowers remind the world that the strongest hearts are not those that never break, but those that continue welcoming others despite every storm they have endured. All right. So that is a little bit about our Anthurium Peryton. So pretty solitary. So I guess in a way they're kind of like dragons, because I feel like that's how a lot of people have dragons, or just solitary individual like creatures, which I guess makes sense for like the hoarding and whatnot. But obviously if they have nests and stuff, there's like two parents. But I can kind of see the comparison here. It's just Perytons don't hoard items like dragons do. But even when I do my dragons, they're not solitary. Like, they're pretty social animals. Anyway, so with this drawing, I am happy to say, like, coloring-wise, I thought overall I did fairly well because, like I had said, I wanted a sunset type of feel. And I actually kind of managed that traditionally, which I was like, oh, I did it. I don't know if I probably could have pushed a little bit more, I guess, color-wise. But the drawing itself, like, overall, did what I wanted to. But I know it's because of the colors I picked. Because I used pretty much reds for the shading colors. So the red itself has a Tuscan red, so it's a really dark red. This is colored pencil-wise. Markers, I'm just kind of throwing colors down right now. Just, like, doing a mixture of pretty much, like, yellows and oranges and a little bit of red. Just to kind of help give the sunset feel on there. And then a lot of it has yellow for the highlight. Obviously you can't tell right now because it's fairly light, but it's there. And I was doing it this way just to kind of help. So it was like an undertone of sunset colors, and then on top of that I added like regular colors, but it's still sunset type colors. I know the red, you can't necessarily like fully tell because it's red. But I still use darker colors. I also used, I think, a Scarlet Lake. And is it Poppy Red, I think? Because the Poppy Red went to the yellow, just because it was kind of like an orangey red, which worked nice for shading. And then the green will get the Scarlet Lake, because it's a little bit darker. But again, it just kind of helps add on that shading factor. Plus me doing my indigo blue that I always do now is another thing that helped to add. So it's just kind of me like purposely actually like choosing the colors that would work best for this. And then all together it came together. Obviously here I didn't do that. I was just still shading it like normal for the most part, just to kind of get a regular bit of shading involved. But here with the pencils is when I actually like include the reddy oranges in here. Just to, again, help push, see like here, just to give a sunset feeling, like there's a glow to it, I suppose, but also just turning it a lot more like redder than it should be. And it's funny because this is water over here on the left, like I'm pretty sure I said that before, is it's water, but because the way I colored it, it looks like lava. I mean, that was not my intention, but that's just the way that it looks. I was trying to go with the water based off of the reflection, but it just turns out like lava, so I was like, okay. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna move on from that. It's okay. It still has the sunset approach that we want, so I'm okay with it. But even going through, if you hear any noises, I apologize. It's our dogs, so I'm kind of hoping that they're not going to be too loud, but knowing these animals, I can't guarantee that because they're very noisy sometimes. But just adding the colors helps. I think the hardest part was the green because it's green. And I know like green and red together make a brown, so I guess it can kind of work, but I think it's like kind of like a fine line. Now obviously the red and the yellow are easier because yellow can be added either with like the orange or like the reddy oranges, which is what I did to kind of help give it this like sunset appearance. And it's funny because you can tell the colors, but like I think like overall It looks like it is more towards like the warm side, which I am very happy about. Even in like the digital aspects, I do change the color slightly to kind of give it even more a ready feel without being like too over the top. But like when you look at it as a whole here in a couple minutes, like you'll see what I mean. It looks warm, like how it should. Like even the green worked, but again, because I used that like poppy red in there, it just helped, or scarlet, whatever it was, it just helped give a little bit more with the sunset feel on it, which is always nice. So I was like, oh, I would say like sunset color wise, this is probably the best I've done so far with that. Could I do better with it? Yeah, but I'm trying to like over time do colors, like learn how to use them differently. And I'm self-taught, so I just kind of make up stuff. Now, if I'm really confused about something, I'll actually look up photos and get ideas or something. But for the most part, I kind of just do what I want. So I feel like I'm wondering, I know just because it's red, I'm wondering if it was a different color that was not red and I still did the sunset. I wonder if it would come across some more. Because, I mean, it's just straight red, so... And then, like, you can't really... I guess you can do some stuff with it. But it's like with here, I don't know. I guess that's a little harder, but... Yeah, I would say if it was probably a different color, I could do more of a sunset-y feel because it's different, and then having add like either red or orange in there, I think would help. So it just varies, but for what I did, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm like, I think he turned out really well overall. So can't be mad at that. It looks pretty good. But he wasn't too difficult. Like the coloring wise, I guess at first, yeah, it was a little difficult, like trying to figure out what I wanted to use to make sure it all worked. But in the end, he really wasn't that bad. Now, the marker, that dark green marker I used, I'm like, I kind of regret using that. I'm like, I should not have used this because it kind of messed up the green a lot. So I'm like, I just should not have done that. It's just too dark, and I'm like, I probably should have gone a little bit lighter with it, looking back. But you can see what I mean by, like, overall, it has a somewhat red feel. This is just the line art now, so we're almost done here. But I just want to say before we finish, is I have other drawings on here. Like I said, this is number 14, so I have 13 other Patreon companions if you want to check out the playlist and such. I do comics. I have a whole bunch of comics on here that I'm still continuing. Some are going to go faster than others. It's a continuation process. I do other series like months. I have seasons. I do paintings sometimes. Like I do a whole bunch of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, please feel free to stick around. Go check out some of the other stuff. But other than that, we are closing this off. So here's our final look. So I feel like in the yellow, you can probably tell a little bit more. I messed with the colors a tiny bit with the sliders. I wasn't, like, I think that I was messing with it too much, and it was, like, going way too red, and I'm like, okay, I don't want it that red. But overall, I still think he turned out really nicely, and I'm pretty happy with him. So, but that is that. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!